All right, boys, we got Kavz in here.
Yo, we saying, guys.
Thank you, man, for coming on the podcast.
Thank you, man. Thank you
No,
for
I
inviting me.
appreciate it. Really appreciate it. And very grateful for you to be here. We're going to talk. First of all, I want to ask you, man, and for anyone not knowing, Kavz has a YouTube channel, YouTube channel. So you got to check him out. The man puts some great content consistently. So subscribe to him as soon as possible. Other than that, bro, so whoever's watching, this is like one of the first times I'm actually talking to him like live. We've been chatting on Discord and such. So yeah, bro, I just want to hear more about you. And first of all, how you got started with self-improvement. What was your like pivot point that sparked you to be like this is enough? Because we all had it, right? Like, this is enough, I'm done, I need to start improving myself.
It was during my first year of uni when I had my slight addiction to drinking alcohol and just being in that kind of environment. That was literally the pivot point of me, like, yeah, this is enough. I need to actually do something about it, because whilst I was drinking a lot of alcohol, I was doing a lot of other bad habits too, such as I was eating a lot of junk food as well. And like I was a big mind wanderer too, and I wasn't doing like anything whatsoever to kind of fix it. I was just kind of hoping, oh yeah, we just kind of go away over time. But no, I had to actually do some actionable steps to combat this. So yeah, that was like, I'd say, was the pivot point.
I see. And how did you find self-improvement, right? Because many people find it through YouTube, or you can just find it through books. You know, there's a lot of self-improvement books. How did you stumble upon, because some people don't even know that it's a thing, right? So how did you stumble upon it?
I'll tell you like the weird story, like completely like weird. So this is like in November 2020. So my hair like is quite frizzy here. So I typed in curly hair tutorial to try and get more defined curls. Then I saw, Jordan Green?
Yeah.
Like, that's the first self-improvement YouTuber I ever watched. So I clicked on his video. I watched the tutorial, but it didn't really help me. So then I clicked on his channel, and then I saw like the video titles he was making was like meditation and all that stuff. And the one video title that intrigued me the most was I think it was, I'm 20 years old and never had a girlfriend. At the time I was 18 and I never had any experience with girls. So I literally watched the video and it really resonated with me. And that's how I kind of found about self-improvement. And then afterwards, I found out the other YouTubers too, just through Jordan Green, pretty much. So yeah, that's how I found it.
Nice. And so right away, when you saw those videos, did you feel, especially you mentioned the meditation videos, what was your initial feeling? Where you're just like, this is bullshit? Like, get me to the point. I want to get girls. I want to, like, how people feel when they see those meditation videos, mental health videos. How was your reaction?
I saw it and I was like, interesting. I was like, all right, I'll try and give it a try. And at first I did it for like, I think I did those guided meditations on YouTube for a bit. And then afterwards I kind of stopped because I didn't actually build the habit of it. I was trying to do unrealistic meditations. I was trying to do like 10-minute ones when I've never even meditated for 10 minutes before in my life. So yeah, that's what kind of happened. I was on and off with meditation.
I see. And what would you say? Because many people watching this video might be skeptical about meditation. They've heard it on my channel and probably on your channel. Their mental health is shit, just like you mentioned in the past. You knew you had addictions, cravings, but you want to do something about it, and you saw meditation. What would you say to someone watching, like a young man? Like, imagine a young man watching this and he's like, yeah, like, I know meditation exists, but like I tried it a few times and it hasn't worked for me. Like, how would you respond?
Just keep trying. Like, it's not gonna work the first time or the first couple of times. It takes time for it to actually see the effects of meditation. It's all about the consistency, actually building a routine with it. That's what I will tell them, really. Like, you're not going to see results first time. Never. With anything you do, you're never going to see results straight away. Never.
I see. So just keep going. So you mentioned your self-improvement journey. You stumbled upon Jordan Green, and you said how you got to some videos and from there it led on. Could you kind of go in detail, like what happened next, right?
So Yeah, so I first stumbled upon for self-improvement number 2020 with Jordan Green, and then I just kept on watching self-improvement videos, but I wasn't really taking the actionable steps that the videos would be telling me. I'd be kind of watching it for entertainment. Like I literally get out like my plate of dinner and then load up a self-improvement video and then just eat my dinner while I'm watching it. So I'm thinking I'm being productive when I'm not. I'm procrastinately, what was it? Productively procrastinating. Yeah, that's what I was pretty much doing. And so that's another thing too. Like when a lot of guys first start self-improvement, they think they're doing really well just by watching the videos, but they're not doing anything in return. So yeah, that's one big like mistake. That's a rookie mistake, to be honest. That's what kind of happened a lot.
Mm. It's it's interesting you mentioned that, because me and you are both running self-improvement channels and we're trying to help young men, but it's almost like a catch-22, right? Because we're trying to help people, but at the same time, like we are giving like good quality advice, and I know you, like you're doing like a phenomenal job. um and we're trying to give people advice, and at the same time they could be doing exactly what you did, like when you started your journey. They could just be watching videos, and they could just feel productive, right? But at the same
Yeah.
time they're not doing anything. So like, I don't know, what do you think about that? Because I've been thinking about that recently, like, you know.
Yeah, because like we're trying to like, because with YouTube in general, it's meant to be an entertainment platform, but we're here making educational videos, and we're trying to get them to stop watching of our videos in a way, but then at the same time we want them to watch it as well, because we also want to get we want to make a living out of this, don't we? So it's a bit of a mind fuck, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's a bit weird when you think about it.
dude, totally. And I've been like thinking about it and journaling about it, because at the end of the day, right, we do want to help people, but it's scary because this could just lead people to be more addicted to YouTube, and what led them to, whatever other addictions they have.
Yeah, like I was thinking this, like I had this question in mind where, like, let's say someone is started watching self-improvement videos. Like, let's say that they had like an addiction to YouTube. Would you say that we worsen their addiction by producing more self-improvement content because they get a sense of dopamine or they get a sense of accomplishment when they actually watch self-improvement videos? So could you say that self-improvement content worsens people's YouTube addictions?
That's a good question. I think that, I think to a certain extent it could, which is scary. That's why it's scary. But at the end of the day, people, I think as you get more into self-improvement, you kind of like the best, like let's say the best case scenario is people stumble upon our content, Hamza, all these people that are creating good content, and they're just like, okay, like I'm gonna cut out the 80% that doesn't help me and leave that 20%. And I hope, you know, our content is going to be that 20%, because at the end of the day, people are still going to watch YouTube. If you had some sort of addiction, like you're not going to go from like 100 to 0. So it's better, in my opinion, to watch self-improvement content and, cut out the other bullshit that they've been watching.
Yeah.
And obviously take action on the advice. That's the biggest thing I'd say.
100%, I agree with you there. Yeah, that's what I really wanted to say about that point. Yeah.
Yeah, people have to take action. They can't just watch it.
Exactly.
Yeah, bro. There's one more thing I want to ask. So you said what other addictions did you have back then?
Back in my uni days, like literally the only addictions I really had, it was literally just alcohol and just I guess YouTube too, watching a bunch of YouTube videos. Like, yeah, that's an addiction, I guess I can count. And junk food. I didn't like at this time, at the same time, I didn't really have an addiction to video games or porn. Like that's when I actually stopped doing those two things. But in return, I then replaced my addictions with something that's worse, which is what like I think most people do. Because like when you stop an addiction, you have this free time. But if you don't do anything in that free time, like anything productive or anything like new, then you could probably replace it with another bad habit or a habit that's way worse than your previous addiction. And that is what I did pretty much. So yeah.
Mm.
That's like some other addictions.
So it sort of led you to a dangerous path, right? Because you stopped one addiction and it led to another.
Yeah, exactly.
I see. And it's sort of like, it's sort of interesting because people, when they stop being like, like a degenerate and they start going on self-improvement,
Mm.
they have much more free time. And you mentioned that, which is interesting. And boredom comes in the way. And boredom means, a big incline to come back to your bad habits or, easy dopamines.
Mm.
How do you personally handle boredom in your day to day, or are you never bored, or like what's your take on boredom?
I think with boredom is that sometimes you have to literally do nothing. You have to literally just sit there and do nothing. Or like another thing you could really do if you're bored, or like how to deal with boredom, is literally just get out a small journal and just write down whatever you think. That's why I literally do. Like I've got this little yellow journal here, and
Mhm.
like sometimes I go outside in my garden, I sit down, I just write down whatever I think when I'm bored. Like let's say like yeah, if I got nothing else to do, I would either just sit there and do nothing, or get out this small journal and just write down like whatever comes to my mind. It can be literally any thought I want it to. So yeah.
I see. So the second you're bored, you reach out and sort of write your thoughts, journal your thoughts.
Yeah, so sometimes I try to do it, but other times I'll just kind of just sit there and just do nothing.
Yeah, like stare at a wall.
Mm.
I think the one thing with that is, for people watching, it's sort of like easier said than done, right? Especially when you have so many addictions and you're trying to, be a better person, improve yourself. But how do you, I know it's like a deeper question, but how do you just do nothing? Right? How do you I think the second question to that is because that was a confusing question, is how do you all right, let me phrase this differently. How do you like almost understand that it's almost needed, or it's a necessity to just have time alone? That's, I think, where I was leading to, like, have time alone with your own thoughts, and that's what you're doing basically, right? You're journaling, you're during those boredom times, you're journaling, you're pausing to think and, just contemplate. How do you convince people that that's something you should do?
That's a good question. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. It's hard to say, isn't it? It's hard to
Yeah.
say. Like it's hard. It's actually hard to convince people because when they're so used to so much dopamine, and you try telling them, "Oh yeah, sit and do nothing," they're not gonna do it. They won't. They won't. They won't listen to you. They'll think, "What? Why do you want me to sit and do nothing? Like I'd rather scroll on my phone than sit and do nothing." You know what I mean? They
Mhm.
always need that sense of just. They always need something there in front of them always. But I don't know. It's hard to do a lot of convincing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, I feel the same. It's almost like we're on the other side trying to tell people, do this and that. But how do you actually influence someone to do it? That's almost the question, because someone living a life full of dopamine, like you said, full of like instant gratification, is not going to get convinced if like a YouTuber like me or you are like, you should journal, you should sit alone with your thoughts every day instead of going on your phone. Like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, why would I do that?
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's tough. It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, I could tell you how I would answer it. I think I think what I would do is just tell them to try for themselves, and be almost like force themselves to live in that uncomfortable like scenario of, just being with your thoughts for like a period of like 7 days. Not like only like not doing anything. What I'm trying to say is like maybe an hour a day or like 30 minutes a day.
Mm.
And then from there, how do you feel? Do you feel different instead of reaching for your phone every time? What do you think of that, about that?
I think yeah, I think that's reasonable. But like, how would you force them to then do it though? I guess I guess you could say that's down to them, isn't it? Whether they do it or not.
Yeah, I think so. A big thing about I'm sure you read this or you heard about this. A big thing about influencing others to take action on, vital behaviors such as, journaling, meditation, is to tell them, a story. And it's actually been backed by science. Tell people a story about your life and how it helped you. So like if you tell me, and I don't give a shit about, journaling and I always want instant gratification. If you tell me a story about you and you're like, listen, I've done this on the other side, like you have to try this. This is how I feel. This is the benefits I get. I feel like people will be more inclined to try it then. Like you don't have to force someone to do it in a way.
Because I guess the story kind of gives a sense of like proof, doesn't it? It's like you showing them that, oh yeah, look, this is what happened when I actually do this habit, and then they might be, okay, maybe I might give it a try. So I guess that's a fair point then, yeah.
Yeah. And I'd argue that most people or most self-improvement, like you look at Hamza, right? The reason why he's so successful is because he's not just telling you go meditate.
Yeah.
Like it's not a video of like, oh, go, you need to have deep work in your life or you need to do this or that. He's just telling you like about his life, about, a lot of stories. And yeah, I think that's big.
It's like, I think the story hooks people on. That's why like they just kind of follow through with what you're saying. And then they get convinced to do the habit eventually.
Yeah, 100%. And I've seen it in your videos. I know there's some videos that I saw you're like talking about for example, I saw one video you're talking about your drinking addiction in the past. You're showing like pictures, etc. That's a big hook, and that's like that immediately gets people to be like, oh, I relate to this guy on YouTube.
It's all about the authenticity in the end. Just about proof and stuff. Yeah,
bro. So let's move on. I have a couple of things I want to ask you, and I want to make this call as valuable as possible to people watching. So that's what I'm trying to think about, the other side, and feel free to help me. And if you have as well any questions you like to ask me, it's not only one-sided as well. But just to move on, what would you say are the biggest like life changers? Someone's watching this video and they're probably in school, and you just visualize them, doing the regular old habits, Instagram, whatever, but they want to start with self-improvement, but they don't know how. They heard about all these habits, but what is, in your opinion, the top, let's say, 2 habits that, and also explain why are these the top 2 habits that someone should get started with?
Let me think. What are the 2 crucial ones that I'd get someone to do straight away? This is one habit that's not really talked about a lot. So I have a Pages document where I literally log in every day. So I write the day and I write down how I'm feeling each day. I write, today I'm feeling X because of this, and I just talk about my day. I do that every day. I think that's one habit that I think people should be doing. I guess you can call that like, it's kind of like I guess it's journaling. Yeah, that's like what is a type of journaling that you should do. And I think journaling is good because it prevents you from mind wandering. When you actually got the thought out of your mind and you actually see it right in front of you in paper, you realize that the thing that you've been thinking about wasn't that deep. You were just thinking about nothing. And also, when you're overthinking and stuff, it's usually related to anxiety, and the thing you're worrying about hasn't even happened yet. So when you actually write that down into paper, you actually look at it from like a third person point of view, it doesn't really like, I don't know, like take over your mind as much. So I think that's one thing, journaling. And I guess the next thing, I'm trying to decide between either exercising or meditating. That's the thing. Because it's like, with meditation, when it increases your mindfulness, and when you're more mindful, you're more aware of your thoughts, you're more aware of like what kind of habits you do, like let's say you get an urge to like, I don't know, do the bad habits. But when you've meditated for so long, you're now more mindful of that thought. You're like, oh, okay, wait, I've just got this urge to do this thing. I probably shouldn't do it because I'm probably going to sacrifice my future self's happiness if I do so. But with exercise, well, yeah, you need to everyone should exercise every day. It's good to get physically fit because that also improves your mental health too. So I don't know which one to choose, either meditation or exercise as the second crucial one. I don't know which one to choose. But yeah, it's a hard one.
If you had to choose, if I put you at gunpoint, what would you choose?
Gunpoint. I'll probably exercise because it does increase your confidence as well, because you get the looks as well. Like that definitely increases your confidence overall. So I'll probably choose exercise and journaling.
Hmm. It's interesting you mentioned journaling. It's almost like a mental health check, right?
Mm.
Do you do that every morning, every night? When do you do that?
Yeah, I try to do it every morning. So every time
Oh,
I come to the beginning, I basically write about how I was feeling the previous day. So yeah, that's what I do. And then obviously I do I try and do my deep journaling as well at the same time.
I see. Is deep journaling something you do every day? Because some people might be wondering, like, is this something I need to, like, someone's anxious, someone has anxious thoughts, and he wants to know, is this something I do on a daily basis, or is this something I do only when I feel negative overthinking, anxious thoughts?
Mm. I mean, the thing with deep journaling is like trying to do it every day is hard. Like, because it depends. Like, like, let's say you do get anxious thoughts every day and you're overthinking, then yeah, I'd say deep journaling every day would help. But let's say you don't, but you only get it sometimes, or you face like a problem in your life and you want to journal about it, then you don't have to deep journal every day.
I see.
Mm.
So it's not as, you don't have to be as consistent, you're saying, as meditation, for example, or working out.
Wait, can you
With
say that
deep,
again? Sorry.
I was saying you don't have to be as consistent with deep journaling, like meditation or working out, because at the end of the day, if you don't need it, then you don't have to do it. You're saying, right?
Yeah, but like still like still try and attempt to do as much as you can, obviously. But like, if you feel like you're good for one day, then I guess I don't know. That's me personally. Like sometimes I don't deep journal every day because sometimes I can't really get into that flow state of trying to like analyze my thoughts or what kind of anxieties I have.
I see.
Mm.
That's really cool. Thanks for those answers. Um, Let me ask you more things.
Mm.
What, and this is also, on the spot, what is pushing you? Because, you're obviously very disciplined, at least from, and, at least from my angle, you're a very disciplined person. We could see, obviously, with one, your body, two, with how consistent you've been with YouTube, and just, how regular you are. What pushes you to keep going?
I got a couple of things in my mind. So the first thing is that the fact that someone else out there in the world is working harder than me. That like to be honest, if the fact like there's someone else working harder than you, that should get you up every morning. That's a scary thought, that the fact that they're gonna get the rewards before you do. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is I think about like my future family, like my children, like because this YouTube channel, I'm doing it so I can get money. So that I'm using that money so then I can raise a future family. So that's another thing too. I guess they're the two things. And another thing, yeah, the third thing, is that I've had previous YouTube channels before. I had this one that have completely flopped. They didn't even get to 100 subscribers. So I want to actually prove myself wrong, that I can actually do something with these YouTube channels. And yeah, I'm at 1,500 now. So yeah, I guess they're the three main things that keep going.
Amazing, bro. One thing I remember is, I do remember your previous channel. It was like a prank channel, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I watched it, bro. I remember, I don't know how I stumbled, because you've been around on, maybe on the Discord or just around. So I remember watching. I'll be honest, they're really good videos, like the Zoom prank.
Oh, what's it? I think you may have found me from Hamza's old videos. I think that's how you may have found me.
Okay. You weren't,
Yeah.
maybe not the Discord, or
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't on Hamza's Discord. I was commenting a lot on his videos back then. But remember, I told you I was watching videos for entertainment. So yeah.
that's what it was. I remember watching. I really liked it. I think your editing back then was was really good. Where'd you learn? I don't know. I remember just watching your channel and being like, this guy like knows what he's doing. This guy could easily have like a prank channel in the future. What caused you to like completely change angles in a way?
Um, I don't know, like, because thing is, yeah, you know that channel, yeah, that was originally a self-improvement channel. Like I had self-improvement videos on that channel, so I tried to go with a mix of both, and then I went from self-improvement to just solely like these little prank style videos. And I think the reason why I went down that path because I was watching these other YouTubers who were also making similar videos, and I was like, oh, look at this, they're getting so much more success. Why should I make self-improvement videos when this isn't going anywhere? So I was like, okay, let me try and do what they're doing. But
Mhm.
obviously, I had to fake a personality on camera. I just didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. So that's why I went back to making self-improvement videos because like it just feels more natural. It feels more me to do.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're really good at it. So you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I have a. Oh, were you gonna say something? Sorry.
I was gonna ask like what made you start a self-improvement channel?
Yeah, good question as well. So I honestly, it's almost one of those things like you fill your cup and then you want to fill others, right? Like
Mm,
I felt like I was at a point where I learned a lot and I've started self-improvement even since I stumbled upon, all these creators on YouTube, more of like just been binging on books,
mm,
self-improvement books, the OGs, How to Win Friends and Influence People, those kind of books. And from then on, I watched content such as you did. But at some point I was like, I know quite a lot. And so why not help specifically, my channel's aimed towards, young men, why not help the future generation of young men get out of a rut, get out of depression, just make their lives better. I think and I'm sure you can resonate. That's the mission that I'm on.
mm.
And that's what also leading to the question I asked you. That's what kind of motivates me to keep going because I know there's another person on the other side of the screen, like watching, although we can't really visualize it all the time. It's
Yeah.
crazy to think that there's like someone actually watching our videos.
Mm,
That's how
yeah.
I feel.
Yeah, because like when you're making these videos, like you're actually talking to the person that's watching you. Like
Mhm.
you're forming an emotional connection with this person because they like watching your videos and they're watching all your videos and they look up to you like, and it's your responsibility to be a leader and set a good example for your viewers.
Right. In a lot of ways, right? One, consistency, and two, I think it also, and I'm sure you can relate as well, also forces us to be accountable. Because if me and you hypothetically tomorrow decide to be completely degenerate and off whatever we're doing, watch porn all day, whatever, then how are people going to trust our advice? You understand?
Yeah, it's just going to confuse them, like, because our words like have a very powerful influence on people. So some people will take it as gospel, like with Hamza, some people take everything he says as gospel. So you've got to be really careful with what you do as well.
Right. And about that, are you, as a creator, are you somewhat, let me see how I rephrase this. Are you somewhat scared to, let's say hypothetically tomorrow you have 500,000 subscribers
Mm.
and you have a bigger responsibility, right? Because we
Yeah.
said, as someone who has so many followings like Hamza, he has 390, I think. You have a lot of responsibility. You're telling people kind of what to do, how to lead their lives, and people might literally take your advice for, you know, completely, like they'll trust you 100%. So are you kind of like scared of getting, and I know you'll get there. I'm not doubting that you'll get
It's fine.
far, but you know what I mean? Are you scared of having that much responsibility?
Hmm. You know what? Yeah, I'll be scared to have that kind of responsibility probably because it's all about your mindset. If you're not mentally prepared for it, then yeah, like it can really like screw you over. So yeah, it's kind of scary to think that there'll be a point where you'll be influencing so many people. Like that's crazy, man. Imagine influencing 500,000 people, and then they literally follow you religiously. Like every word you say, they will literally take that in.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts, man. I don't know. Sorry, I'm just deeping it right now. That's why I'm just like, whoa.
No, I know. It's a big question. And it's almost like, what do you do with all that power?
Yeah, it's like, because some people wouldn't know what to do with it. If like, let's say you got 500K as well, like you just got it within tomorrow, how would you be able to cope with that?
If magically tomorrow, like, video went viral, or I don't know if it's possible to get 500 one day, but I feel like I would take a long time to kind of think about the responsibility that I now have. And I would like triple check every single thing I'm saying, because I want to make sure that I'm influencing people correctly. Not like I'm not triple checking now, but it's more like you feel even more of like a weight on your shoulders. That's how I would describe it. So I'd be like damn. And I guess the big, you said, what if you have 500 in one day? I think, and that's kind of a question for you in a second, but for me at least, I'm really enjoying the journey right now. And I feel like if something that happened, hypothetically, then it wouldn't be as fulfilling as it can be. If tomorrow I woke up with 500,000, I would be like, okay. I really feel like the journey, it's all about the journey almost. I know it sounds cliche, but it is about the journey. And so if people are starting a YouTube channel, or they're starting whatever, a business, or they're listening to this and they're on their self-improvement grind, it's not only about getting jacked or getting that meditation XP, being more mindful. It's not only about the end goal, in my opinion. If you don't enjoy the journey, then like, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. And what's it? Actually, I had a question. Have you ever been nervous about uploading a video?
I don't think so. I think the only I think the only way I would ever be nervous is if my video was controversial in a way, like if it had some controversial topics. And I don't think I ever experienced like nervousness. It was almost the only thing I ever experienced is almost, I wouldn't say it's nervousness, but it's the same thing we know, showing up and meditating and working out. It's always hard to do, but you just got to do it anyway. That's what I experienced. Never like nervousness in a way, but almost sometimes my lizard brain is just like, don't upload today, do it tomorrow, record the next day. It's sometimes, and I'm sure you could relate, it's sometimes like a fight, because yeah, we want to record and we want to help, but we're also experiencing negative thoughts, like everyone does, telling ourselves, oh, don't do it, or well, maybe tomorrow. Like, how do you relate with this?
As in, like, sometimes you don't have the urge to upload a video. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really had that recently. But I guess from past experience, yeah, it's just like it's because like we overthink. Like when we like try to upload a video, we always think about how like long and boring it will be. I mean, not boring, but like how I think like whenever I get reluctant to upload a video, it's always the editing that puts me off. Is that the same for you? I think that's the main reason why I'm reluctant to then make a video, mainly because of the editing.
Yeah, I experienced that too, because it's a little bit tedious and it's harder. What you're saying. So that's what you're saying.
Yeah, for sure.
But we got to do it anyway, and that's kind of the mindset people need to have. Just show up mindset.
Exactly, just show up.
Yeah, it's really half the battle. But yeah, bro. You mentioned before something about how I asked you a question about what motivates you to keep going, and you mentioned the fact that there's other people on the other side of the world or wherever who are waking up earlier than you or doing better than you. How do you feel about the topic of competition? How do you feel about people saying, there's two sides to this. There's people saying compete only with yourself. And, I want to hear what you think about that. And there's the other side of people saying you need that male aggression, you need that competition side, and you need to literally compete with other people. Otherwise, you're like, it's not wishy-washy. You can't just only compete with yourself. Which side do you pick?
Okay, I'm glad you asked this. I got a video coming out on Monday, literally talking about competition. But yeah, so for the one where people say, oh, what's it, competition? Oh, we're only competing with ourselves. Well, here's the thing, like, they're doing better than the people who aren't doing anything. So fair play. But you have to realize this is that no matter what you do, you're in competition with everyone else. Like, even with working out, like, yeah, you do better than what you did last time. Okay, fair enough, fair play. But in a way, you are kind of competing with other people too. It's the same with YouTube as well. When you're uploading videos, trying to get to a schedule, like, there's loads of other people doing the exact same thing as you. So yeah, like, and I think like having that male aggression is good because that's what drives us to just keep going and actually keep moving forward. Because if I was to just always have the mindset of, oh, I'm competing with myself, like, I've already impressed myself already. So like, I'd rather like look around me and go, okay, who's like, I'll look for others for motivation and look at them and go, okay, if he can go this far, then why can't I? In fact, I can beat this guy. I can beat him. So I think it's good to have the aggressiveness when it comes to competing.
That's a great mindset to have. I agree with that totally, because maybe at one point you need to compete with yourself when you're very early on in the stage of your self improvement. And then at some point, like, just like you said, I already please myself. I'm already like doing well. I'm happy with my progress. But why not just look at others and be like, I could be better than him,
Exactly. Wait, I wanted to ask something. Wait, I forgot what it was. Wait, it was like, all right. What are your opinions on like dating apps?
Apps.
Yeah, dating apps. Yeah, dating apps.
Yeah, sure. I'd love to answer. I think it's the instant gratification route. I think many people know delayed gratification versus instant. It's so easy to almost sort of get a match online if you're okay looking. Okay. I don't want any black pillars in here. It's no, it's not as hard, right? But it's harder to choose that delayed gratification route and meet someone in person. And not only in person, I'm like literally meet someone, get to know them first in person. And yeah, I think it's very degenerate. All these apps. I'm sure there's some that are less than others. I know Tinder is very like just for hookup culture. But my opinion is to avoid it. That's my opinion. And people could be like, well, how do I meet someone? How do I meet a girl? But it's like hard to say, because my opinion is you should keep focusing on yourself and keep improving yourself, because, and thirdly, you need to get out there in the offline world and go to events, clubs, whatever, and meet people there. I know it's easier said than done, but it's an interesting topic. What do you think? What's your opinion
on dating apps? Yeah, I mean, I tried it myself a few times. I don't think it's worth it. Like, of course, yeah, you can improve your looks and whatever, you do all that stuff, but ultimately, you only attract like lower quality people on that app. So I'm thinking, why don't I just improve myself and then go out and actually like do it the proper way and actually meet people that way, instead of just wasting my time just swiping right and left all the time. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's sort of the question of like, what would like a 1% man do? Would he seriously go on like Tinder and look for a girl?
Yeah, nah. He'd just go to like some fancy place, and that's where would see all the girls.
Yeah. And it's hard to tell people to do that, I think, because it's so easy almost to get a girl online. Not easy, but you know what I mean. It's just, you're a few swipes away from talking to like a person. And that's sort of like, do you think it's sort of scary in a way? I don't know if you have the same opinion. I think it's sort of like just like porn, right? Porn is like a few clicks away. Obviously, dating apps, you can't compare the two.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to say that it's almost so easy these days to find a it's so another problem. It's sort of so easy these days to find like one, a girl, or two, just communicate with someone in so much ease.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Wait, did you say like it was scary? Like, in what way would it be scary?
I think scary in the terms of it's so much like comfort in the way that 30, 40 years ago, we didn't have this sort of comfort of being like, oh, let me just quickly talk to, I don't know, Jessica, like a
Yeah.
few swipes away. Or let me quickly, watch some porn or whatever.
Yeah, that is true, to be honest. Like, that's another thing. I don't think like adults and all, like let's say our parents, they can't really relate to, they don't really understand how sexualized the younger generation is. They don't realize how common sex and nudity is. Like, it's just, we live in a very sexualized narrative where everything's about sex. Everywhere you go, everywhere you look on social media, you scroll, you go on the explore page, the most deadliest place on Instagram, the explore page, you're just gonna see ass and tits. Like, it's just so sexualized. Everything is sexualized.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. It's an interesting topic. I like to talk about that. What do you think is the reason society is so sexualized today? I personally don't really have a good answer for this. And I'm not sure if you do. I'm just wondering. This is literally a question for you. I don't know. I don't really have an answer. But do you think it's social media? What do you think it is?
Ooh, juicy question. Yeah. Why do you think society is still sexualized? Hmm. There's a lot to say because, like, yeah, you could say it's social media,
Mhm.
but then, it's a hard one. I'm not gonna lie, it's a hard one.
Yeah,
It's definitely really hard to say. Like, yeah, what has made the West so sexualized compared to other nations?
it really might be a push by. There might. I don't think this is a conspiracy theory. There literally might be some sort of like hidden agenda to get people to be like so focused on sex because it sells. You know what I mean?
Would you say it's like some sort of subversion?
Yeah, it literally could be some sort of subversion because if you're so focused on sexual, I don't know, sex, whatever society pushing it right now, sex, porn, all the stuff you said on Instagram Reels, then you're diverting away from your mission, what you have to do, what you're actually on this planet for, and you're literally diverting away from that, and you're becoming a degenerate. And you can argue that society, I don't know if it's the right word to say society, but let's use society, wants you to be like that. Because if we have more people like us, right, more people who are like self-aware, who are just like on the other side, like not being degenerates, then is that really going to sell? Like, are we, is the society really going to make as much money on you? Like, you know what I mean?
It's like, we've got to ask ourselves, are we doing enough to kind of stop this destruction for our society as well?
What's the question?
Like, are we doing enough to help as many people kind of stop this destruction in society?
We being me and you? Or
Yeah,
we
and like
being,
just like everyone else as well. Like, everyone
yeah.
else doing make self-improvement.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think there's a lot more to be done.
Mm.
Um, but it's scary because we just looking back, you say your parents, they don't understand these types of conflicts or issues that a modern day man, for example, is experiencing, because society is very sexualized right now, very just pushing, mainstream media pushing these kind of narratives on you. And yeah, you can argue subversion or some sort of narrative, and it very well might be, you know.
Like, I don't know if you can relate, but like, so I'm like, I'm like, obviously I'm Asian, yeah. So, and like with my parents, they don't really know like with porn and sex in general, yeah. Like this topic is so taboo in like Asian culture. It's never spoken about.
Mhm.
So I think, I don't know, it kind of annoys me because like I think a lot of like Asian guys are very addicted to like porn and stuff because of it, because it's not talked about. It's never brought up enough. So yeah, I don't know. It's just something that's been on my mind. I've been thinking about.
Interesting. So you think it's a common thing, right? That it's very taboo among Asian people.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's literally never spoken about. Like I learn about this stuff through YouTube, not through like anyone else or anyone around me.
Yeah, totally.
Mm.
And I think it's worrying a little bit because um I know, for example, I was hosting a lecture 2 months ago on Discord, on Hamza's Discord. It was
Mm.
about porn
Mm.
and porn addiction. And I remember just talking to my mom and being like, "Oh, I'm hosting a lecture on," being completely like upfront with her, not trying to be taboo about it or anything. It's not. I'm already like 21 almost, a couple of days,
Mm.
but I was just like telling her, "Listen, I'm hosting a lecture on this." She was like, "Wait, what? Like that's a problem? Like tell me how is that a problem?" She literally didn't know it's like a modern day issue. And my mom is, I come from a Middle Eastern descent, and so
Mm.
I don't know if it has to do, just like you said, it could be, you know, maybe it's not a Western thing, maybe it's just, I don't know, or maybe it is a Western thing that it's more taboo or not taboo. I don't know if it has to do with where you're coming from or culture, but in my opinion, I think generally, like our parents don't really know about it, and so like our generation now, or younger than us, are like not even understanding or that it's an addiction.
So you could argue that it's a generational problem.
I'd argue so.
Mm. Interesting, interesting.
I think, just like you said, maybe it's our job on YouTube to just be that kind of like leader, right? Because if parents are not going to talk about it, then who is going to talk about it?
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, how do you feel about the fact that we need more people to, I guess, be not taboo about these kind of topics?
Wait, can you say that again? Sorry, I kind of just find what it's sorry.
Yeah, no problem. How do you feel about the fact that this topic, is taboo in general, and it just needs to be more talked about?
Yeah, it's kind of sad. It's a bit disappointing because I just see like a lot of younger kids doing this, watching this stuff, like these kind of videos too. Like that should not be allowed. Like, can you believe I've got 8-year-olds watching porn now? That's just
Mm-hmm.
sad. Like what were you doing when you were 8 years old?
Playing outside.
Exactly. Now we go like, the thing is not even just porn addiction, just technology addiction. We're just addicted to our phones as well. Like now, like we've got kids with iPhones now. And just
Mhm.
looking down, just messing up their posture and everything. It's kind of sad to see, really. And who knows how bad it's gonna get in the future.
I see. Would you raise your children? How would you raise your children in that way? What would you tell them?
Yeah, it's really hard to say at this point because do I want them to use the technology and then make them like get the experience and know how bad it is, or just straight up tell them, oh yeah, don't do this, don't do that. or do I give them the freedom to explore? That's like a question I've been trying to ask myself, but to be honest, I don't know. It's really hard to give like a definitive answer.
I see. Yeah, I would also relate. It's kind of because we were almost given the chance to just explore, right?
Mm.
So is that something we want to do to our future children, for example?
I literally don't know, to be honest. I really don't know.
Yeah.
It's risky, really risky, because you don't want them going down. Yeah, you don't want them going down the same path that you did. So yeah.
And it's scary, but it's the argument of do people need to go through pain and addictions just like you experienced, right? You had an alcohol addiction, you're addicted to, all these technologies. Do you think people need to experience that and live happier when they kind of fight that, or do people just need to skip it altogether and have some parent or guardian tell them don't do it, or you should avoid it, or just get more guidance? So it's sort of the question of, do we need to suffer and then grow from there, or do we need to just skip the suffering?
That's a really good question. That's a really good question. Like,
On the spot, bro.
yeah, because I think the best case scenario is to tell them, oh yeah, don't do this, don't do that. This is what will happen. This will happen to you if you do this and that. But thing is, when you tell someone not to do something, they're more likely to then do it. Like if you tell someone, oh yeah, don't do cocaine, don't do meth, don't do nos, like they're more likely to do it. They're gonna go out and try it. If you tell someone not to chase off the girls, they're gonna do it, because most people don't follow advice anyway, right? Like, well, when you're a kid and someone tells you, yeah, don't go there, like you're a kid, you're gonna do it. So that's the thing. It's hard. Like yeah, literally, like I said, the best case scenario is to tell them don't do it, because this is what will happen to you. Like I'll try and that's what I want to do. Tell them to not do it.
You don't think it, just like you said, you don't think it'll push them to do it more?
That's the thing. It might, though. In the end, it might. So maybe I'll give them the learning lesson. Don't do this, but then the choice will be theirs. So whether they do it or not, it's entirely up to them. Like they face the consequences of their actions in the end.
I see. It's just like you're doing with your self-improvement channel. You're telling people, don't do this or don't do that. But people always have the right of choice. You can't force people.
Exactly. You can never force people to do anything.
Nice, bro. I think that's all I really want to ask you. Do you have any questions for me before we wrap this podcast up?
What are your plans for YouTube?
Good question, bro. I think first of all, just starting this initiative with the podcast, I think is a big thing. I'd like to get more amazing people like you on the show, or just talking to more people. I think I've learned a lot from you on this podcast, and I'm sure a lot of people could learn a lot as well. So I think interviewing people is something I'd like to do. Just getting not only myself talking and being out there, but also getting people like you to show up and just speak to them like unfiltered. I think another thing I'm planning is just being more consistent. I really aspire your consistency and your discipline. And so, yeah, 100%. And so I'm really trying to get myself to be more disciplined in terms of content creation. I'm really taking it seriously now. Not like I haven't in a few months ago, but I've been uploading like maybe a little less than I wanted. I just want to put the message out there more. That's kind of where I'm at. But where are you at for the future, YouTube?
I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and just hopefully things blow over. So yeah, just keep at it.
I think that's the biggest thing. And just like we said, focus on the journey and not the end goal. I think it's very important to just, and I'm sure you're enjoying it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, of course. Always.
Nice, man. Any other questions? If not, we could wrap up.
I can't think of anything at the moment, no. But yeah,
All right, bro. It was really good time talking with you. I'm really grateful for you coming on. It was nice getting to know you for the first time.
thank you,
And
man.
of course, man. And I'd like to definitely chat with you one offline or maybe just in the future more.
Yeah, I'm down.
But other than that, thank you to everyone who's watching as well. Subscribe to Kavz ASAP. He has amazing self-improvement content. But other than that, man, it was really nice talking to you. Thank you.
Likewise, man.
Thanks for coming on, man. I'll see you.
See ya.
All right, bro. Peace.
Peace.